Chapter 21. Dark clouds overcome the city. Ding 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 dong 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 dong. Les Miserables, just in terms of repertoire, was still an extremely majestic piece of music. At least Gu Hai, just by listening to this music, had a feeling of the grandeur of the symphonies of yesteryear on earth. It was the first time Gu Hai had heard of such majestic music played on a guqin, an ancient zither that could still be so majestic. The sound of the zither was surging and majestic, but this music seemed to have an infinite sadness in it, and a great tribulation abandoned by heaven and earth seemed to be tormenting you. Torture your life, torture your spirit. The five senses in slowly missing. The sky is gradually darkening, not the dark clouds covering the sky, not the night coming, but your vision is slowly degrading, slowly disappearing. Blind, about to become blind because of this intention. What am I going to do? I can't go blind. I can't go blind. No. Someone save me. The intention. I don't want this intention to entangle me. Someone help me. I'm blind. What about the future? Stay blind from now on. Countless cultivators cried out in terror. The sky was getting darker and darker, and the eyes were getting blind. This was a great fear that instantly caused countless cultivators to shiver in their hearts for a while. Countless cultivators quickly surged towards the world's first zither building, wanting to stop the sound of the zither from continuing. However, in the surrounding clouds, Fairywana had already disappeared in general. Where is it? Demonis, where are you? Come out. The surrounding cultivators cried out miserably. The eyes gradually lost sight of it, making it even worse to find. Misery. The sound of the zither continued. Sight. No, this was just the beginning. Smell, touch, even hearing. Eyes, ears, mouth, nose and tongue. The five senses are slowly in the midst of degradation. For a zither player, the other four senses can disappear. But what about the sense of hearing? Once the sense of hearing disappears, how can one play the zither in the future? Will his or her Qingdao come to a halt? Panic spread, fear grew. Countless zither masters, sitting on their knees, held their guqin and played. Ding ding ding. As soon as the zither's intention came out, it endeavored to impact the disappearance of the five senses brought about by Les Miserables. However, one's intention could only last for a while, and was instantly impacted by the atmospheric grandeur of Les Miserables. World's first kin house, I will not share the same fate as you. No, Demonis, stop it. World's first piano house, stop it. Oh my God, my hearing is weakening. I'm going deaf. I'm going deaf. How can I play the zither in the future? The screams were endless. With the effect of the celestial zither, the sound filled the city in all directions. Some cultivators rushed up to the sky, wanting to destroy the heavenly harp. However, the closer they got to the celestial zither, the stronger the effect of Les Miserables became. The cultivators, who rushed up high into the sky, suddenly fell down with all their five senses gone. Countless zither masters were about to collapse, and countless cultivators were about to despair. A world of extreme misery was created in Silver Moon City, in a small courtyard not far from the Heaven's First Kin building. Sima Changkong stroked the ancient zither in his hands. Ding 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 ding. With a wipe of his hand, a burst of zither sounds surrounded Sima Changkong, unlocking the tragic world's mood disturbance for Sima Changkong. Sima Changkong wiped the ancient zither and looked at the direction of the world's first kin building with a cold smile. Demonis, Demonis, world of misery, yet it's so powerful. Are you trying to declare war on the old lord of Silver Moon Villa? Ha. The world's #1 kin building. This time you've been victimized by the Demonis. Sima Changkong laughed coldly. Sima Changkong was sitting in the small courtyard, merely plucking the strings to ensure that he was unharmed, and that his group of subordinates were unharmed. Others, Sima Changkong, did not want to go over to help. This time, the disaster was too big. The entire city was affected. The heaven's first zither building, at this moment, was already in an uproar, with countless cultivators rushing in and smashing the musical instruments inside, trying to stop the sound of the zither. Young Master An and Zhong Changyi were also dumbstruck. Too much, it's over. The world's #1 zither building is going to be over, Zhong Changyi said with an ugly face. What is Fairy Wanna going to do? What is she going to do? Stop him for me. Young Master An was furious and said, I can't find anyone, Young Master An. Fairy Wanna has disappeared. Find her for me. Ha, I can't hear you. Find it for me. Find that bitch for me. My eyes are going blind. What? Speak up, I can't hear you. Disaster was in the midst of spreading. On the opposite side of the street, above the #1 piano building on this street, Gu Hai's 5 senses were also in the midst of disappearing. Gu Hai was also in a state of anxiety. Steeply, in the space between his eyebrows, the heavenly Zhen divine seal shook violently. Boom! There was a loud bang in Gu Hai's mind as the heavenly Zhen divine seal trembled as if it had instantly expelled the intentionality breath from his body. In an instant, Gu Hai's eyes once again brightened, and his ears once again became clear. Standing on top of the terrace, he looked in all directions. The streets were in all directions. A tragic chaos. Countless cultivators were slowly blinded, deafened, and suddenly went crazy. Ancient helmsman, you play the kin, quick Mu Chunfang was blind at the moment and cried out in terror. Long Wanqing grabbed Gu Hai. Gu Hai, I can't be blind. I haven't avenged my mother yet. If I can't see, no one will take care of my sister. Ooh, Gu Hai. I'm going to be deaf. What should I do? You go and play Canaan. You play Canaan. Help me expel the intent. Long Wanqing grabbed Gu Hai. Her face was helpless. Tears slipped from her eyes. Her grief was incomparable. Play the Canaan, but I can only play tunes. I don't have the intent to help you expel the intent infestation, Gu Hai said anxiously. Huh, Servant Gu. What did you say? I can't hear you very well, Mu Chunfeng said anxiously. Gu Hai, quick, go. Okay, go. Long Wanqing grabbed Gu Hai, also in a state of confusion. The 5 senses were lost, and the entire person's life was going to be over. A great sadness rushed straight to the hearts of the 100 million people in the city. Gu Hai grabbed Long Wanqing and was also in a state of anxiety. Looking across the street, countless cultivators on the other side pounced on the world's first piano building. But Fairy Wanna had already disappeared between the surrounding clouds and mist. Only the sound of the zither remained, that surging sound of the zither. Gu Hai frowned slightly. Hurry up, Gu Hai, please. Long Wanqing grabbed Gu Hai and cried with incomparable sadness. All right, I'll try, but I don't know the effect. Gu Hai faintly burst into a bitter smile, and slowly walked towards the place of the piano in front of him. Slowly, he sat down. Although Long Wanqing couldn't see, but, feeling that Gu Hai had arrived at the piano, she didn't dare to disturb and sat aside in fear, waiting anxiously. On the opposite side, amongst the clouds, Fairy Wanna was still able to see Gu Hai, playing Les Miserables in her hands. Seeing Gu Hai sitting in front of the piano, Fairy Wanna revealed a light smile, playing the piano. A piano without a meaning, even a good tune, is useless. You are not my opponent. My opponent is the old master of Silver Moon Villa. Turning her head, Immortal Wanna no longer paid any attention to Gu Hai, but instead looked in a distant direction, and that direction was where Silver Moon Villa was. At this moment, outside the Silver Moon Villa, the same scene of panic and screams rang out. The world's #1 piano building. I'll day your 8 generations of ancestors. My ears. I'm going deaf, help. Old master, help, old master. We're going to lose our 5 senses. Please, old master, save us. Old master, misery world. The intention is too fierce. We simply can't resist. "Old master, save us." A tragic scene happened here as well. One by one, the zither masters had originally come to take the test halfway through the examination, and were suddenly subjected to this unmitigated disaster, and were instantly horrified, quickly playing their ancient zither to ward off this intent. But Immortal 1's intent was too strong, destroying everything, all the way to destroying everyone's zither intent cleanly. Only the Misery World's intent remained. In the Silver Moon Villa, countless disciples were also anxious at this moment, quickly gathering on top of an internal square. Under Yun Mo's leadership, all of them played a tune together, and the realms of all of them, linked together, resisted the realms from the miserable world. The world of misery, ferocious as if it were an ocean sweeping in. Yun Mo led a group of Mountain Villa disciples to continuously resist the realm, as if it was a flatboat on the ocean, incomparably dangerous, and time again, they were almost capsized by the impact of the misery world. One by one, their faces were incomparably ugly, and one by one, they were anxious. "Master Zhuang, we can't hold on much longer. This miserable world, it's too terrifying." "Master Zhuang, what to do? What to do?" Yun Mo anxiously shouted. Not far away, in the middle of the small pavilion, the old Mana Master was still gently polishing his ancient zither. Slowly raising his head, he looked at the sky. A zither sound came straight up. While others were affected, the old Mana Master seemed to be unaffected. Dark clouds slowly piled up in the sky. As the miserable mood continued to accumulate, the misery continued to increase. The sky slowly became covered with dark clouds, as if it was a gathering of miserable chi. The longer the zither sounded, the thicker the dark clouds became. It was a mood dark cloud, as if a tragic fate was pressing in. It pressed on everyone's hearts, and on the sky above the entire Silver Moon City. Misery, this is coming at me. Ha, ha, her disciple, a disciple with such high natural talent. A song of miserable world, breaking one's five senses, more terrifying than form-killing. Miserable. What a miserable world. The old Mana Master laughed as he looked at the rolling dark clouds in the sky. "Master Zhuang, we can't hold on any longer. Please make a move, Master Zhuang," Yun Mo called out anxiously from the rear. The old Mana Master looked into the distance, across an infinite distance, at Fairy Wanna at the world's #1 Kim building. And Fairy Wanna looked at Silver Moon Mountain Villa from an infinite distance as well. It was as if the supreme experts were looking at each other from afar, dueling to the death. While playing the zither, Fairy Wanna revealed a cold smile, if she was waiting for the old Mana Master to make a move. The old Mana Master slowly flattened the zither, probing his hand to gently stroke the strings of the zither, ready to strike. Dang, dang dang, dang dang, dang 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 dang. Steeply, a piano sound came out of the sky, as if it was a heavenly sword, instantly stopping at the center of the duel between the two masters.